capture the flag.
Hey guys, this is VG Sav here today with my Call of Duty Advanced Warfare multiplayer review. You saw my positives and my negatives videos. I actually did 2 of them. And I feel like the negatives in this game are really they're correctable for the most part. The main negative with this game so far has been connection. They were trying to do a skill-based connection type, and I think they've kind of gone completely away from that. So I think as long as that's corrected and they stay away from the skill-based matchmaking and just keep the skill-based matchmaking to, you know, the skill-based or the you know, the ranked game list, I think this game's going to be I'm going to brace myself here, is going to be probably one of the better Call of Duties of all time. For the people who really enjoyed Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty World at War, you may not have the same opinion as I do. I think in a lot of ways they went back to some of those roots by minimizing the amount of guns and well, not so much attachments, but the amount of guns. I think overall the weapons, with one exception, are generally balanced. I do think there is one gun in particular that was a little overpowered, and I think or actually some people think and I'm talking about the BAL, that the BAL is not overpowered, but instead it is the only viable gun. There's some argument in the community right now about that. I'm going to just go ahead and say the BAL is a little overpowered, and I think it's going to get patched. Other than that, all the other guns are very, very well balanced. There's nothing that's super overpowered, and I think in time that everything else about the game feels very, very, very balanced. Some things that I've noticed while playing, if I'm playing in a party, now this may or may not have been corrected at the time that you're seeing this video, but when I'm in a party, I feel like the connection's a lot worse than if I'm playing solo, which is a little disappointing. Though I guess I can understand it too, especially if they're doing the skill-based matchmaking. So when the skill-based matchmaking is taken out, which I think it has been, that shouldn't be as much of an issue. Because I think team play in Call of Duty, and really any first-person shooter for that matter, is really, really what makes the game the most fun. So having bad connection simply for, you know, being penalized simply for being in a party is obviously not something that's good. But overall, the game modes are good. They brought back some of the best game modes in Capture the Flag and Hardpoint. They still have the classics like Domination and Team Deathmatch that a lot of the community still flocks to. You know, Search and Destroy is still there. The new game modes, Momentum, I think is fun. The spawns are a little screwy sometimes, but I think that's intentional. I think you're supposed to spawn near the flag. It's supposed to be a long, drawn-out gun battle to capture one of those momentum points. The other game mode with the Uplink, I think is horrible, but I compare that actually a lot to Blitz. I don't like it. Maybe it's a personal opinion of mine. I just don't like it. The maps, I love the maps. I can understand if some people don't like the maps. I know a lot of people prefer the Ghosts types of maps where they're kind of more circular. There's kind of like a central location, but there's a lot of different flank routes and a lot of different ways to get from A to B or whatever. Whereas this game generally tries to rely on the 3-lane mode, where there's a middle, there's a left, and there's a right. Yes, there's, you know, different ways to go down the middle. There's different ways to go to the left. There's different ways to go to the right. There's ups and downs. But for the most part, everything seems to be middle, left, or right. The 3-lane method that Black Ops 2 had. that's going to be more of a preference thing, depending on your what you like, depending on your style of play. If you're more of the competitive type, you're probably going to like it. If you're more of the type of person who likes to get into a gunfight as opposed to just slaughter the enemy in the back, these maps may not be for you. If you're the sneaky person who likes to go around and shoot everybody in the back, that a lot of people like me hate, then you may not like these maps. I mean, there's ways to go about it. There's ways to get around. If you're more stealthy, if you have more of a stealthy class, you can certainly still do that and play that kind of game mode, or that kind of play style. However, I still frown upon you, and I don't like you. But it's not as prevalent in this game as it was in previous, and especially in Ghost. In Ghost, it just seemed like that happened an awful lot. So for the most part, with the balancing that I think is actually there, and the maps and the overall game modes, I think this, I really, really do. And the addition of the movement types, I really think this is making it one of the better Call of Duties of all time. A lot of people are still going to think that Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and World of War are probably still their favorites. A lot of people like to, like the classics. I personally was a huge fan of Black Ops 2. That is probably my favorite Call of Duty of all time. And this, to me, this game harkens back to that a lot, with the overall weapon balance and the overall feel of the maps, and the game modes and the competitive feel about it. And I just, for me, this game is that, with better graphics and better movement and more exciting movement. I'm not gonna say better movement. It has more exciting movement. It's different movement. It has a little extra flair. So I really, really, really think this is going to be a favorite amongst the community. With that said, if one of the reasons why you don't like Call of Duty is the community, and you don't like playing the multiplayer, the community is not changing a whole lot. In fact, they may actually be getting worse. I think this whole competitive movement that Call of Duty and a lot of video gaming is actually coming to, stuff like League of Legends and Dota that was big in Asia, and it's actually starting to become big in the United States, is really changing the community. Everybody thinks that they're really, really, really good at this game, and you're just bullshit, and that tends to be annoying, and that tends to be more prevalent when you have a more competitive feel to your game. So the community may even be becoming just a little bit more toxic than they have been previously. And that is kind of a drawback, especially if you're an older gamer and you don't have, for some reason, the ability to mute everybody. I highly recommend muting everybody whenever possible, and try not to watch kill cams, because you're going to get teabagged when, especially if they don't like you. And basically every time that the enemy dies, they're going to think it's bullshit, no matter what. There's really no way around it. You're never going to get anybody that says, "Oh man, that was a good kill by you." That's just not going to happen. It never really has, and it probably never will. And my final point is, it's another negative. If Call of Duty, if you've been playing Call of Duty for a long time, even with the new movement abilities and jumping abilities or whatever, the game still feels like Call of Duty. So if you have been tiring and wearing on Call of Duty, then this game is not probably going to change that a whole lot for you. So overall, I think it's a great game, but it is still Call of Duty. That's my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And thank you for watching.